Welcome back to Metalstorm Pilots, and one of the big questions I always get is, how do I level up faster? Well, you level up faster by completing challenges, right? So here, for example, we have 3 challenges: Revenge, Destroyer, and First Blood. One of the easier ones to get, if you have the right aircraft for it, is the First Blood, which basically means you have to get the first splash of the match. Now, the way to do it is to pick the right aircraft. An aircraft with strong missiles, which you can quickly launch, or one missile that will knock out an enemy, is the way to go because you want that first hit. So MiG-31 is great for that. Earlier on, the Mirage 3 is also an excellent choice because 2 of its missiles will usually knock out a fighter, the Tomcat or the F-111. And if you want to be clever, you can leave one aircraft at a fairly low level without taking it to, level 10, 12, and so forth. Leave it below level 10, and in theory, you should have easier enemies. Now, you might not win a match at a lower level, but you will get that first splash, which will get you the flight pass points, which will give. So we've got our MiG-31. Now we want to check what's our map. Our map is air superiority on Crucible. Now, let's hop in and think strategy. What we need is we need to get in front of everybody, figure out where we're going to see the first hostile and how we're going to splash him to get our first blood medal. Now, let's take a look at the other side. We've got an F5, and I think there was a VIG in there. Both aircraft are fairly easy to splash with even just one missile. What we're going to do is we're going to go right down the center and fully accelerate. First target is an A6. Now the A6 is impervious to Fox 2s, but we can fire a couple of Fox 3s at it. It is a tough plane, but especially if it's a bot, he's not going to dodge. And there's our first blood. Just that easy. Well, first off, who are our fighters? We've got a few heavy fighters, which means we're looking at least 2 missiles to splash one. Second up, what's our map? Our map is Crucible, which means that the straightest path to the enemy is right down the center. So let's go low, drop our nose, accelerate very fast, and put some hostiles on the nose. And let's go for a couple of Fox 3s. 1, 2, and 3. Even if the first one gets flared out, the next ones will track. And there's our first blood splash. That easy. SU-30 kind of flies through here. We don't really care. We're going to let him capture the control point and flip around and head in for control point alpha here. But the most important thing is that's how we got our first blood splash. We knew where they would be likely coming from, and I was able to pick the target, fire 3 consecutive missiles, because I knew it's going to be an aircraft that's going to be not a light fighter, which means a single missile wouldn't have been enough, and the additional missiles guaranteed that if the hostile dropped flares, they would get tracked and knocked out.
Many minutes later.
Oh gosh, that was close, that was close. This place is just a mess. Bring it around. Alright, the missiles are powerful enough to just be an indirect hit and to knock out that guy. F-16. That's an F-15, sorry. He's maneuvering hard. He's doing some real fancy flying. Where is he going? Get on a 6. Send a Fox 2 in that direction. Double Fox 2. He gets splashed. We take back the control point. Hit the brakes. And we need some more missiles here. Do not want to win too quick. There's nothing wrong with leaving. Did I just do a little cobra there? Or at least look like a cobra. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with just leaving the enemies to gain some points. But let's take a look here. 8, 1, 2. We've got a destroyer medal. And that's not the medal I'm looking for. The medal I'm looking for is the first blood, which we got right here. Very cool. So there you have it, guys. That is how to get the first blood medals. And I'm 3 away from an extra 500 points.